The emotional or ethical boundary violation. So ethical would be more in adult relationships. An ethical boundary violation would be something around secrecy or something that you shared in privacy, gossiping, something where you made an agreement with someone. It can be an unspoken agreement, but you trusted them. You've put faith into them. You've shared something in confidence. And they would just violate that agreement between you, and they would just spill out whatever you shared with them. Gossip is a version of that, or bad-mouthing someone behind their backs is a version of that. That would be the ethical version of it. The emotional flavor is any form of emotional invalidation, neglect, criticism, blaming, shaming, gaslighting, anything where you feel like that the child is not entitled to their own emotions. Whatever they feel is not okay, inappropriate, not accepted, or non-existent. No, you don't feel that. No, you're not allowed to feel that. It's not okay to cry in this house. Some version of that. Or a version of you're making them feel responsible. You might not say this out loud, but you're making them feel responsible for your emotions as an adult. You're making me sick by going out with that girlfriend. You're making your mother worried sick with your behavior. Or you make me so happy. It can be a positive reinforcement as well. You make me so happy when you bring home good grades. Which means if I don't, I'm not making her happy. You know, these subtle manipulative techniques that make you feel like that someone else's emotional state is in your hands and you're responsible for them, which is totally inappropriate for a child. An adult as well, it has to be a mutual agreement between, in any form of relationship, but I'm going to use intimate relationships. Between partners, it has to be a mutual agreement of how much are we comfortable and capable of allowing each other into our lives. How much are we co-resonating and co-harmonizing with each other? What do we feel safe with? That is completely couple dependent. Some couples feel very safe and very secure sharing the minute details of their personalities and their internal lives with each other, while other couples prefer to have separate bathrooms or separate bedrooms because it's just more convenient. It's up to the individual unit how much they feel like they want to interact with each other. As long as it feels safe and comfortable, it's not a boundary violation. So there isn't really, I'm going to list examples of that later on, where it becomes very clear that boundary violation is not this clear-cut objective list of things that people do to each other. It's the feeling state, and that's where it can be distorted and turned on its head, where you've hurt my feelings and I'm just way too sensitive about it, and how dare you hurt my feelings. And it's a whole other discussion that I'm not going to go into right now. But when people make you feel guilty for their own feelings, that is the reversal of the reversal. And I'm going to go into that in the victim-victimizer game series, because it's a fascinating dynamic and it's incredibly intricate. So emotional, any form of agreement violation. So it would be betraying trust, cheating, lying, where you would have a spoken, unspoken agreement, what is okay and what is not okay in this interaction, in this relationship. It can be a work relationship, it can be a friendship, it doesn't have to be an intimate relationship, or it is starting with the parent-child relationships, where one feels like we have a set of guidelines and you have violated those guidelines. So all of a sudden we're out of sync. We're not on the same page anymore. You feel like a separate island to me. We used to be a unit, but now you just carve this gaping wound between us. And now we have to bridge the gap if we ever can. there is a break in trust, in being able to count on another person in a healthy way as an extended sense of self. That can flow into the unhealthy version of it, of enmeshment and codependence. But in healthy, securely attached relationships, every now and then, as a context-dependent dynamic relationship, you can dynamically count on each other, because we're social creatures. None of us are capable of completely fulfilling all our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial needs by ourselves. We rely on each other. And where those emotional boundaries have been violated, you have a real hard time trusting others, trusting that they like you, trusting that they care about you, trusting that you can count on them, that you can ask for help, that you can ask for your needs, that you can express yourself, that your emotions are going to be validated, that your opinion matters, that your physical presence is welcome. And somewhere deep down inside, we all just want to feel special to at least one person. It's a huge human need to feel significant. And emotional boundary violation completely undermines that sense of self, that we can or that we ever will be meaningful and significant for another person. And it's not neediness, it's not codependence, and this whole rhetoric, this new agey rhetoric around I don't need anyone else and I'm whole and complete by myself is a yes, and at the same time you're a social creature just as much, and there is a flavor of emotional need that you cannot fulfill all by yourself, because it's a relational need. And as a social species, we need relations to feel emotionally and spiritually healthy and safe. So, any form of invalidating, denying, or neglecting your needs or your emotions would be a huge emotional violation. And it trickles down into, my personal example would be, in my early 20s, I walked around saying to myself and to other people that emotions are bullshit. That's why I tested INTJ on the Myers-Briggs. And 3 years down the line, I changed, 6 years down the line, I changed 3 letters out of those 4. So those personality types are not solid and they are not set in stone. They are circumstantial. And my circumstances used to be that it's not safe and it's not okay and it's not welcome to feel my feelings or to even have feelings. So obviously I have to adapt and adopt this personality that would save myself from being annihilated. And I would just say that then I don't feel. And that goes straight into depression. Cheerful.